In this video, we're going to talk about how dinosaurs actually fit within the biblical narrative and how we are indeed being told an institutionalized lie. Okay guys, so here we are in New York City at the 81st Street, 79th Street subway station. And already you can see how thick the brainwashing is. We're not even on museum property, but they have this very lavish subway station filled with all this evolution and ideas that the Museum of Natural History narrates. So you can see how thick the brainwashing absolutely goes, and why our society absolutely believes this stuff as true, because that's what the world sells us, that this stuff is the truth. From the dinosaurs, the evolution, and that the world is millions and millions of years old. But we know the Bible is true, and we know that the biblical narrative and the other scriptural inspired texts tell a much different story, and they do make sense. So, this is important, guys. It's important to understand this, because let this serve as a witness to strength, to keep strong in our faith. Hi everyone. So I'm here at the Museum of Natural History in New York City, and today we are here to not just believe the lie that the institutional narrative sells us, but we're going to see if we can find evidence of the biblical narrative. You know, you don't have to pay money to get into this museum, but they prefer a donation. But I'm going to be that guy that tries to see if I could get in without paying any money. Hi everyone. Okay, so here I am standing in front of the T-Rex. And for those of you who are not sure, let's go over the story. How did the dinosaurs really come about? What does the biblical narrative actually tell us? Throughout all the scriptures, to the Dead Sea Scrolls, to the Bible and other sacred texts, okay? There's one thing is for sure. What the world is selling us is absolutely not true, and is an impossibility. So we could really trace the story going back to Cain and Abel. Okay, after Cain slew Abel, wickedness was prevailing over the world. As you know, you could study this, and as you know, the seed line of Cain, the tribe of Cain, was prevailing over the world, and wickedness and corruption was in abundance. And the sons of God, the angels in heaven, who were watching over humanity always, interceded for us. And they made a petition to the Lord that they may come down to earth to teach us righteousness, because it was getting out of control. The Lord granted their petition. But the problem is, when the angels came down to earth, the human women were lusting after the angels because they had great angelic form, and, you know, not that hard to imagine. So the human women were seducing these angels, and about 200 of them or so, as told in the book of Enoch, fell prey to that and decided to exchange their immortality for the benefactor of lusting after these human women. And not only that, but absolutely double downing on the sin, corrupting the entire earth, and teaching them all sorts of wickedness, all the secrets of wisdom that the earth didn't know. And some of these things included the making of weapons. The money system was given to us by these fallen angels. Women wearing makeup was given to us by these fallen angels. All these sinful and lustful lifestyles became rampant on the earth because of these lessons from these fallen angels. So after the fallen angels mated with the human women, they begot the giants. And the giants became out of control, and nobody could handle them roaming around the earth. These giants were as big as 450 feet. Okay, huge. Now, how did the dinosaurs come about? Well, the book of Enoch tells us that these dinosaurs started sinning against all kinds of animals. Reptiles, beasts, fish, and birds. Exactly the same type of species the dinosaurs come from. So that's the answer, guys. That is the answer. The dinosaurs is a result of the giants mating with the animals of the earth. Now, in the days of Noah, pre-flood, everything was naturally bigger then. But with the help of angelic DNA, these things were, beyond big. Okay? The camera doesn't do it justice. This thing is massive. Okay? Absolutely massive. And that's the account. And many people studying this want to ask, how come dinosaurs aren't front and center in the scriptural narrative? We only hear about them, it's only peppered throughout the scriptures, and you have to kind of figure it out. Well, the giants were the center. Guys, I think it's our mentality. I meditated on this. It's our mentality for the dinosaurs to be front and center, because that's the world we come from. That's the narrative the world is selling us. But 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, when these scriptures were written, it was all about the giants. The giants were responsible for bringing these into life. So that's why we don't see such a blatant mention of dinosaurs in the scriptural record. It's all about the giants. And the giants were these things' parents. And the scriptural record does say the Lord gave these giants dreams. And apparently the giants did communicate with the monsters and all the animal and human hybrids that were going on in the days of Noah. Okay, the world only shows us the dinosaurs because it fits the agenda, the evolution agenda. Okay, that's why. But there's a lot other things running around the earth in those days. So one of those things, there was many animal-human hybrids. Okay, so it's true. He just said I'm crazy. So there you go. I managed to clear out the whole room by making this video. Empty. It's amazing. So that's the truth of the biblical record. It's true, guys. It's true. Let it be a witness. Praise Jesus. One word. Jesus. But that's why we don't see a mention of the dinosaurs so blatant in the scriptural record, because it's all about the giants. Okay, and there were other things roaming around the earth in those times. Animal-human hybrids, just crazy. It was just one big circus. That's the picture painted in the scriptural record. So we're only, the world institution only brings out the dinosaurs because it fits the narrative they're selling us. It fits the evolutionary narrative and old earth narrative. So that's why dinosaurs are front and center in our lifetime, in our lives. But in truth, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, is it any wonder why God would decree Noah's flood then? It perfectly makes sense. It makes sense. And truth is stranger than fiction, indeed. So, I think that's generally the story, guys. So, I hope that made sense. And I don't know, I'm going to look around and see what else I can find. All right, God bless. I literally cleared out the whole room by telling the story. Oh, man. Jesus, guys. All I could say is God loves us every day. Go to Jesus. The smoking gun to the dinosaur phenomenon can be found within the book of Enoch, chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned them against them, and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts, and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. I mean, the evidence of the biblical and scriptural narrative is all over, despite what the world is selling us. I mean, for example, look at these dinosaurs who have duck beaks, okay? It was just an intermingling of everything you could imagine. It was one big circus. And again, I'll repeat myself, it makes absolutely complete sense why God would decree Noah's flood. I mean, what the heck is that? So it's pretty cool, like looking at these things straight in the face. We could get a pretty good idea what it was like in the days of Noah. And notice a lot of these dinosaurs don't have big heads, so they probably didn't have very big brains, so they probably weren't very smart. And as the world continues to tell us, look at what happens over millions of years, we could say confidently, look at what Noah's flood did in 40 days. And those who would not accept the truth, the Lord will give them over to a very strong delusion. It's important to know this stuff, guys. What is in the darkness will be revealed into the light. Okay, guys, so in conclusion, this is where I felt the Lord wanted me to go today, and again, we find that the biblical and scriptural records cannot be disproven. Despite whatever slant or whatever agenda the world is selling us, we find what we see in all the scriptural and sacred texts to be absolutely accurate. And it goes against the absolute grain in everything the world is telling us what is. So it is what it is, guys. We know this is the truth. Welcome some insight into the days of Noah, what it was like. A prophecy of what our days are like today. God bless you. And again, understanding this stuff is important because this is the big curveball the world throws us into not believing in God and not believing that the Bible is true. And so therefore, it's important to understand this information and the truth so it could be a witness onto the nations, a witness onto the lost, that there is an answer. And I'm going to repeat myself again, the word the Lord gave me, that God loves us every day. Go to Jesus. God bless you.